The universe is incredibly big and seems full of potential for life, with billions of habitable planets. If an advanced civilization had the technology to travel between the stars at just 0.1% of the speed of light, it could colonize our galaxy in roughly 100 million years.
This is the intro.
Which is not that long, given the billions of years the Milky Way has existed. So, in principle, any spacefaring civilization should be able to spread rapidly over huge sectors of the galaxy. And yet, we see nothing, hear nothing. The universe seems empty, devoid of others. This is the Fermi paradox, which we've discussed in more detail in other videos. Confronted with the seemingly empty universe, humanity faces a dilemma. We desperately want to know if we are alone in the Milky Way. We want to call out and reveal ourselves to anyone watching, but that could be the last thing we ever do. Because maybe the universe is not empty. Maybe it's full of civilizations, but they are hiding from each other. Maybe the civilizations that attracted attention in the past were wiped away by invisible arrows. This is the dark forest solution to the Fermi paradox.
Wait, what?
The way of life. The hunter awakes in his hiding place and carefully listens for suspicious noises from the thick undergrowth before he gets up. Another night has passed without incident. The forest is dark and full of fog. He considers calling out to others to end his loneliness, but stops himself at the last moment. What if they are like him? All living things seek to survive, secure resources, and multiply. Their greatest obstacle are other living things that share the same objective. Competition between species favored the survival of beings with advantageous traits. Our ancestors were inventive, competitive, expansionist, and greedy for resources, which led them to winning the competition for our planet. Today, most other animals are so utterly at our mercy that we wipe out about a dozen species a day, just as an unintentional byproduct of how we like to run things. But humans are more than individuals. From us, cultures emerge that also compete with each other. Competitive and expansionary cultures spread faster and further and merge with, subdue, or destroy others. If we look at our history, it becomes clear we are dangerous. Not just to others, but also to ourselves. Our human nature has driven us to take over every corner of our planet, and soon we will look to the stars, both to expand our domain and ensure access to ever more resources. And then we might stumble upon others trying to do the same thing. It's likely that the competition of life also takes place on far.
Technically, chat, could there be some elements out there that we don't know about? Like some weird fucking like purple radioactive fucking rock stone you put up like in a fucking thing, and it gives it power for like 1 million years, some shit. Like
planet. So it's logical to assume that an alien civilization that came to dominate their planet would be in some regards similar to us. But if they're similar to us, they too may be dangerous. The implication. As the hunter sneaks through the dark forest all alone, he knows that there might be others like him. He can't know their intentions, if they are aggressive or not. The hunter knows he would kill to ensure his own survival, so he has to assume that they would too. And it might be that if he stumbles upon another hunter, the one that shoots first survives. None of this means that conflict is unavoidable. So far, the progress of the modern world seems to have made us more peaceful, not more violent. Maybe this is true for other civilizations too, that eventually progress means less conflict, not more. Different alien civilizations also should vary from the mild and peaceful to the malevolent and militaristic. The existential problem we're facing is that when we meet others between the stars, we have no way of telling who is peaceful or aggressive and what their true intentions.
Isn't one of the problems also of like exploration or whatever the fuck is that
If
the
we
universe
ever
is
want to go into
expanding
deep space,
at rates
we'll get
that
just an
are so
astronaut
fast
to sit in your
that
nose
it does,
and
we
get
won't
to
be able
look
to.
up and sneeze.
Similarly, they
It's
might not
expanding.
understand or
50
trust
months.
our
I hope
intentions,
you are
even
having
if
a
we
good
tell
day,
them that
Mr.
we are
Streamer.
peaceful.
Also, chat, you are
On
looking
top of
cute
that,
today,
if we did
xQcl.
discover another civilization and they discovered us, the light years between us would mean years of communication delay. Both sides would be in a state of uncertainty, wondering if the wisest move is to just attack, because there's another serious issue: technological explosions and the first strike advantage. We don't know where the limits of technology are, but we do know how much technological progress matters in war. A few hundred or thousand years can turn conflict with uncertain results into a one-sided massacre. Caesar's legions would stand no chance against Napoleon's army with their cannons and muskets, which would be eradicated by artillery from the First World War, which would not stand a chance against today's drones and guided missiles. So the power level
Chat,
of different
chat.
civilizations...
Imagine chat, guys. Imagine chat, guys.
It is
Guys.
very
I said this
interesting,
last time.
yeah.
Imagine chat if you were to respawn, right? One guy or one squad, or you and your squad, you respawn one time way in the past in like fucking year zero, and you have
Almost
like
3 years.
fucking ARs and RPGs, motherfucker, and you're
41 months xQcl.
dude, wouldn't that have an insane impact, dude? You spawn it, you respawn it, but you have technological advantage. You have like rockets and fucking and boom, dude. You can soul clear the whole squad. Right?
may vary massively, and even if not, between the time it takes us to detect another civilization
You would soul
and us
carry an
saying
entire nation.
hi, we might already be hopelessly behind on the tech tree. Which is bad enough, but the nature of interstellar conflict makes this worse. If your opponent is light years away, sending an invasion fleet takes so long that by the time it arrives, it might be hopelessly obsolete.
Infinite ammo.
So war between civilizations might be just about eliminating the other to remove an existential threat to yourself. Someone else who might be so scared of you that they attack the first chance they get. In this environment, the only way to guarantee a win is to strike with such force and speed that the target has no chance of survival or time to counterattack or escape to seek revenge later. The stakes are the highest possible, with no room for error. If we assume that the majority of civilizations live on planets, that leaves them pretty vulnerable. All you need to do is throw something massive at a planet to make it uninhabitable. So the ultimate interplanetary annihilation weapon is probably something like a relativistic kill vehicle, a missile shot at a planet at a significant fraction of the speed of light. For example, a missile the size of a person going 95% the speed of light has as much energy as all nuclear bombs on Earth. If you shot a few dozen at the civilization you wanted to wipe out, success would be fairly certain. Even a single hit would suffice.
Guys,
This is not that
really odd question, chat. Guys, listen. This might be
Just
really,
use
this seems
your
really
nose
odd,
as a
okay?
big fucking
Guys,
shield.
I bet chat if you make a hole the size of a manhole through a planet, but the planet doesn't have a core that's hot. It doesn't have like a crust. It just it pierces all the way through. What happens if you go up top and you jump inside the hole from the very top? What happens then? Do you go through it, or whenever you hit the middle, you start going whoom, 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 and then you're just in the middle. You're stuck in the middle, right? You would get stuck in the middle.
absurd of an idea. A civilization
you're
only
crushed by
slightly
gravity.
above us on the Kardashev scale would have enough energy to send multiple strikes against every planet it suspects of harboring life.
xQcl, I love
What makes
MasterChef
these
content.
weapons so sinister is how much they favor a first strike, since they would be so fast that it might be
Oh, the gravity on both sides doesn't go to zero. It just crushes you.
impossible to protect yourself effectively against them once they're launched. Conflict between civilizations may not be lengthy affairs, but rapid winner-takes-all situations, where the first one to shoot wins. This makes any civilization an existential threat to any other. And if every civilization is an existential threat to every other, there may be only two kinds of civilizations out there: quiet ones and dead ones. So, what should we do? Should we worry? It's unlikely that anybody has noticed humanity yet. The radio signals we've transmitted in the last 100 years traveled a relatively tiny distance and have long decayed into unreadable noise.
Yeah, it's nothing.
At our technological stage, if we don't actively try to get noticed, and if nobody specifically looks at our pretty unremarkable solar system, we'll stay hidden. But one day we will venture into space in a serious way and need to consider these kinds
Those
of
guys,
questions
they would just
again.
make fun of us. And
We
bully
don't know
us.
if there are others or if we are going through the forest
Surely
alone.
aliens exist.
But we have no way of knowing for sure. For the time being, it seems the best we can do is to carefully listen. And even if we see others step into a clearing and make themselves known, we should not reply right away, but carefully watch them from the undergrowth. Perhaps we are also thinking about this all wrong by allowing our primitive brain that evolved in the context of the gruesome competition of life to conjure fears of predatory aliens all around us. Maybe the fact that we are looking at the
Perhaps.
universe like this is a sign that we are not grown up yet as a species. There could be a friendly, welcoming community of alien civilizations waiting to hear from us when we are ready. As for now,
Well,
the good news...
guys, if that's the case, and they were very intelligent and rational, wouldn't they know that our species is just
Yo,
it's very
xQc,
irrational
what's your
and
favorite
stupid,
gaming memory
and
from
they would
when
see
you
that's a
were a
threat and
kid?
just eliminate.
is there is actually little we need to do. We just
If
need
they
to
are
be
rational
thoughtful
and
about
calm
the
and
signals
chill,
we send out
they would
into
definitely
the
kill
galaxy.
us then.
We need to watch the sky
Just we're
and
kinda
learn
dumb.
more about our galaxy, our forest. Because whatever the nature of our
Is that a
forest
threat?
is, full of
Because we're such a threat to everybody that we are a threat to ourselves. That's how bad we are. That's how we. Wait. We're so dog shit that we can't even prevent ourselves from self-destructing. So of course they're gonna see us as a threat.
dangers or friends, or nobody at all. Only careful observation can tell. So, let's do that. At last,
xQc,
the
Look at
hunter
it.
reaches a clearing and finds a comfortable position. Slowly, the sun melts the fog away. Lost in thought, he admires the vegetation until suddenly he is eye to eye with another hunter, frozen in terror just like himself. His mind is racing, considering all the different options. The hunter takes a deep breath and makes a decision. Maybe the only way
24
out of the dark
Much
forest is to step into the clearing together. And with this hopeful picture, we say
Or if this guy is like dumb or stupid, you go for a handshake and instead you tap him, you get his gear, and now
goodbye to the year 12,021 of the human era.
Now you're
It was a
chilling.
wild year to say the least, still much more fun than 12,020. Kurzgesagt had its most successful month ever and published a book. We tried a lot of new techniques and really got into Blender and Cinema 4D,
closer
hiding
you get
more and
to the
more
core, the
3D
less
in our
gravity.
That's
videos.
cool, I enjoyed the video.
We have so
I
many
don't understand
ideas
it,
for
but
next year and big and ambitious plans that we can't wait to share with you. And all of this was and is possible because of your
Nice,
direct
Fantasy is good
support.
brainwashing.
Thank you so much. Kurzgesagt only works because of you.
Good video. I enjoyed it. Ta-da.